Welcome to the Pickleball Recovery Podcast, where we highlight products and practices to help you feel better faster, so you can spend less time stiff, sore, and injured, and more time on the court doing what you love. This podcast is sponsored by AlloMD. Don't just mask pain, eliminate it. AlloMD provides intense relief and advances continual repair for both acute injuries and chronic pain. All-natural, patented technology developed by doctors to get you back in the game fast without the use of opioids, steroids, or NSAIDs. AlloMD, harnessing the power of pure natural ingredients that provide deep, penetrating repair. Patented, validated, natural. Learn more at www.allomd.com and make sure to use the discount code PBR at checkout to save $5 off your order. What's up? Hey, welcome to another episode of Pickleball Recovery. I'm your host, Tim Ringgold. It's great to be with you. I'm super excited you're here. Hey, would you do me a favor? If you are someone who likes to check out things on YouTube, would you go to our YouTube channel? It's just called Pickleball Recovery, and subscribe to the channel. I like to do as many of my interviews as possible live and in person, and they're quite fun to kind of watch the interactions. So you can check them out over there. And if you're on Spotify or on Apple Music, if you want to just take a second to just give us a 5-star rating, that would be so appreciative. It just helps spread the word. I don't know how all the algorithms really work, I'll be honest with you. But everybody says that the more people that rate, like, subscribe, do all the things, the more people that do it, the more that the platforms will somehow suggest it to other people who might find it interesting. I don't pretend to know how all that works, but I'm just kind of following the best practices. So thank you for your understanding and for your partnership in spreading the word. Because if you're like me and you're over 40, your body doesn't work the way it did when it was 20. I could throw my body around with impunity when I was 20. I just can't do it anymore. I need better tools. I need a better strategy. And that's my journey here with Pickleball Recovery. My journey is to figure this thing out so I can play more pickleball, because I've been really struggling my first 2 years and, reaching for all kinds of things to try to make the process better. Which is why I'm really excited about today's episode, because one of the things that I was introduced to in November was CBD and Medicileaf. This company is, or at the time was was like the official CBD sponsor of the PPA tour. So they had a booth at an event I went to, and I walked up and they said, like, what hurts, And I told them who I was and that I was planning on building this platform. We started chatting immediately over, how to help pickleballers with their pain. So I remember one guy massaging my back with, with like I don't know what it was at the time, probably the salve, that's the right word. While someone else massaged my forearm because I was struggling with some tennis elbow. And I walked out of the tent feeling like $1 million. And that began, my friendship and my relationship with these guys. So today, you're going to hear an interview I did with Don Shaffer, the founder, at a PPA tour event in June here in Southern California, the OC Cup, where we sit down and kind of talk about how he got into pickleball. It's a really touching story, and kind of also, the truth about CBD, because there's obviously a lot of hype out there about CBD, but not a lot of knowledge base yet. So people hear about it, but they're not quite sure what it is. And, of course, everybody links it to weed, and, we want to dispel the myths about, the connections, where there are connections and where there aren't. So I'm super excited about this. Now, I am also, be super honest with you, I am also an affiliate of Medicileaf, because I think their products, well, it's not that I think their products work. I know they work. I've used them myself. I've watched other people use them. I've seen the team of Don and Cindy and Max put this product on countless number of tired and sore pickleballers at tournaments, and watch them just like roll their eyes in amazement, like, wow. Same with Rick Barry, watching, NBA Hall of Famer Rick Barry use this stuff and the way he talks about it. I'm just so impressed with these guys. So family business, love them. and want to support them the best I can. And the way you can support them, if you find that you want to try out CBD products for your pain, give Medicileaf a try. It's medicileaf.com, Medicileaf, almost like medicine leaf, Medicileaf. And if you use the promo code PBR at checkout, you will save 15% off of your order. So pretty cool. Thanks for checking them out and supporting them and supporting the podcast. So with that, let's get into the interview. So sit back, relax, enjoy the ride, and I'll see you on the other side. Don Shaffer, thanks so much for joining us on Pickleball Recovery.
I'm excited. Thanks, Tim.
I'm really happy to have you here.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to get to know you and really like what you're doing out on the pickleball community.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really do. Really enjoy it.
So for me, funny backstory, we are here in beautiful San Clemente, California for the PPA Orange County Cup, and the ocean is just beyond those clouds. We're feeling the ocean breeze right now. There are worse places to be.
This is a blessing.
This is pretty amazing, right?
It really is.
Last year at this same tournament, it was my first PPA tournament, and there was this banner in this tent where there was all this action. And my friend was like, oh, yeah, Medicileaf. Yeah, you got to go check out their stuff. And this is long before I had even conceived of the podcast. And he was like, yeah, they use CBD products. They're amazing. You should go check them out. And he planted the seed. And so here we are 1 year later.
Wow.
Hanging out in the booth together, helping people one day at a time get through their pain.
Yeah,
it's been an amazing year for your company with PPA. Just give us a little bit of backstory. How did you come to start your company?
Yeah.
Why CBD? Why healing? There's a million things we could all be doing. What kind of...
Great questions.
Yeah.
It started in my garage.
Okay.
So my father was diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Gotcha.
In 2013.
Okay.
And my fiance and I went up to visit him. And at that time, he was given a bunch of meds, I'll call them. Only one was for Parkinson's. The rest were for pain. He was in a state of mind that I've never seen him in before. He was almost in that euphoric zombie state where he didn't even know who I was when I came through the door. And it really upset me. I actually didn't stay long at the house. I told my mother, let me get a look at what you're giving him so I can kind of understand. And it turned out to be Norcos and oxycodone. I mean, just the list. I don't want to give a full farmy background of that. But that's where it really got me thinking about, we've got to do something for him. And that's where my mindset was at that time. We got to do something for him. We can't let him just rot with the pharmas that they're getting.
Yes.
Thus, having a career in pro soccer many years ago. I won't tell you when, but many years ago. Yeah, exactly. So I remembered a friend of mine, a gentleman that was my coach, by the way, and he had pulled out this bottle of stuff and he rubbed it on my back, and 4 hours, no pain. And this is when I'm in my early 20s.
Okay.
So this was many years ago.
Okay.
And I went, wow, I wonder if, Manuel has that stuff still. And so I called Manuel, and Manuel said, come on over. He goes, I got a bottle right here on my counter. So I went to his place, his shop, and he gave me the bottle. And then he gave me all the ingredients, and he goes, here's what you need to do. And so I went home, and 2 weeks later, I had made my own concoction of what he had, given me.
Okay.
And that was our original topical, which was a topical spray.
Gotcha.
Went up and put it on Pops, and Mother rubbed it on his back and his legs, and he was up walking in 20 minutes. And I just was like, oh, my Lord. I went, this is, we were just all ecstatic. And from that point on, I knew I had something.
Yeah.
And then I started sharing it with all my soccer friends.
Yeah.
Knees, backs, shoulders, neck. I mean, just all the different injuries we acquire over the years of playing, soccer.
Yeah.
And in other sports as well. I mean,
Sure.
many of these guys played other sports, but they just kept calling me. And they're going, Don, what is that, man? That stuff is working. And of course, it was a mix of several different ingredients.
Yeah.
The yucca root, the arnica plant, raspberry plant. I mean, all organic plants.
Okay.
And then, of course, cannabis, hemp
Yeah.
combination. And we started to kind of go, wow. My girl and I, we started talking, and we're like, this is really something.
Yeah.
Fast forwarding, we then went to a very large cannabis competition.
Okay.
Called the Emerald Cup.
Okay.
And it's very big in our county. I live in Northern California, Humboldt County, Mendocino County, Sonoma County, known for growth of cannabis.
Yep.
Of course, I wasn't a cannabis connoisseur, but I wanted to go to this competition, entered my product, and I ended up taking top 10 out of 300 entries.
Oh.
And we found out, they didn't have an exact order, but we lost to Whoopi Goldberg and Willie Nelson.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I was like, wow, we really do have something. And at that competition, and this is really kind of crazy, a young man that I coached had just finished his degree at the University of Santa Cruz.
Okay.
His name is Will, and Will had gotten his biochemistry degree, and Will had been making cannabinoid tinctures for 2 years prior to that I had no idea about.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I saw Will there, and he made the top 10 as well.
Okay.
So at that point, we collaborated, and we did several things together. He brought some things to my attention, and I brought some things to his attention. I'm the business person. He was the scientist.
Okay.
And so it was a really great mix that way.
That's a good mix.
And then we just started our little own organic website.
Okay.
No marketing, no, just friends, family, sharing it. And then 2 years ago, fast forwarding some more, I got introduced to pickleball. And my really good friend, Taiki Tesseras, who I played soccer with, who my brother introduced me to.
Okay.
I had sent him some product. He loved the product. He goes, Don, it's really funny. I've got these guys out at the Utah pickleball court that really love your stuff. And I was like, cool, man. What are they? You want to buy some? I'll sell them some. And he's like, no. These guys run the Professional Pickleball Association.
Oh.
And I was like, what is that? I had no clue.
Off the radar for you.
Yeah, off the clue.
Sure.
I was like, okay, well, what do you want to do, Tyke? And he goes, they want to interview you because they're interviewing 8 CBD companies.
Okay.
And they ended up picking us.
Fantastic.
And it was just like one of those, oh boy, now we got to spend money, because that's the way I think. I'm like, and I told my fiance Cheryl, I was like, we haven't spent a dime on marketing.
Wow.
And so we both were in that COVID mode, I guess.
Yep.
And we were like, it's time to make a change.
Yes.
It's time to do something different lifestyle wise. And Cheryl was in the insurance industry for 20 years.
Okay.
And employee benefits, and it was a stressful job. And I've been selling real estate for 27 years. And I was like, what else we don't have anything to lose, really.
Yeah.
So they picked us, and they called us and said, the only thing that we have to sell you is you guys, our original logo had a leaf on it.
Okay.
A cannabis leaf.
Yeah.
And so they said, listen, you're going to go national. And I think some of the states aren't going to be too attracted to that in your marketing wise. And I said, I agree. So we had 6 weeks to rebrand, and we did it.
Yeah.
And then we hit our very first tournament, Tim, down in Arizona at the Marriott. And the response, it was funny because you go somewhere and you don't know what to expect.
Sure.
And we started watching pickleball, and then all of a sudden we seeing people falling left and right, injury.
Going down.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it
Pulling
wasn't
up.
that we weren't, I don't recognize injury as a being a former player,
Sure.
but it was the amount of games these people are playing. I mean, to make a medal round
Yes.
in some of these tournaments,
It's
8,
grueling.
9, 10 games they're
Yeah.
playing, and
Yep.
and I know my body well enough where I know how sore I get after 4 games.
Right.
So that's where it all started, and it's just snowballed.
Yeah.
The amount of people that I've met across the country now, the opportunities that we've been given, the travel that I've experienced. I met you, Tim. I mean, and I've been introduced to many other people, and now we've ventured into partnerships. And I mean, I'm meeting celebrities like, we've brought Rick Barry into the realm.
Totally.
I just signed Tim Hardaway, the former NBA player. I met with Danny Warfel at the last
Wow.
Florida tournament. Michael Phelps,
Wow.
Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, these are celebrity guys,
Yeah.
but the celebrities in pickleball. I mean, the Ben Johns, the Tyson McGuffins,
Yeah.
the Anna Lee Waters, the
Yeah.
Callie Joe Smiths. I mean, these people are amazing individuals, and not only as players but human beings.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
what I really, really like about this whole pickleball thing.
Yeah.
Is not only am I getting to help people,
Yep.
but I'm getting to forge new relationships. And
It's so great.
How healthy is that?
It's so good.
It really is.
And, interesting, and I won't go too far off topic on it, but interesting you just said that, because in psychology and in social psychology, particularly men, but also women in their 50s and 60s struggle with social bonds because they tend during their 40s to focus on their family and their career. And so they lose their social network by the time they're in their 50s, just from atrophy. No falling out, just busy with the kids, busy with work. By the time you're in your 40s, your work is pretty serious stuff. You're not just punching a clock. And those friendships just kind of atrophy away. And what pickleball does is it gives us all this mutual space to connect and forge new friendships. And just for me, since I'm still just under 2 years playing, there's 100 new names in my phone.
It's amazing.
And that where else do you have the ability to plug in to so many great people who don't take themselves that seriously? Let's be honest, because we're saying pickleball. You have to take yourself a little bit light in order to come over to the pickleball side. One of the things I'd love for you to help the listener with is to understand a little bit. We won't go too deep, but just to understand a little bit about what's different. What's the difference between CBD, right? There's hemp-derived CBD, there's whole plant CBD, and then in their minds, there's weed, right? And can we help them understand the difference that there's THC in that plant, but then there's also these CBA, through the alphabet chemicals that science is really starting to catch up, that there's some amazing things that happens, and that we have an entire system in our body that wasn't even discovered till like the 90s, the endocannabinoid system. Fascinating, right? So I think for most of the people who listen to this, we're all over 40. So in our heads, we've got this kind of myth and this pre-existing notion. And what I'd really love is to help kind of bust that so that people just feel comfortable reaching for CBD, because it is such a game changer on the body.
Yeah. Thank you. It is. And great input. Endocannabinoid system, I knew nothing about.
Right?
I've been well introduced to that by a couple gentlemen in my sphere that have really educated me. It's funny because when we're growing up, we're so young and fruitful and fun, and we repair quickly. And that's the endocannabinoid system. And what people don't recognize was you have a bunch of cannabinoids in your system when you're young.
Yes.
And they go away as you age. And if you don't replenish them, which some replenish themselves, for sure. But if you don't replenish them or don't use them properly, then that portion of that endocannabinoid system starts to be affected. Bursitis, tendinitis, sciatica, arthritis. I mean, these things that we all struggle with as we grow older.
Yep. Yep.
The plant itself has 130 cannabinoids. Now, just think about that.
Wow.
130. They found about 12, that they can really extract.
Okay.
And I'll start with the first one, which is the CBG, which is the mother of the plant, and it's the youth of the plant. So CBG is the youth of the plant.
Okay.
So as we're a younger person, we have tons of CBG in us.
Interesting.
It's kind of like when you see a hemp plant start to grow in that very small growth, they've learned how to now plant small plants and extract that medicine from it.
Gotcha.
Okay. That took them a bit. And then as the plant grows, it has several different other cannabinoids that start to form. CBN, which is the sleep portion of the plant.
Okay.
And it's probably one of our top sellers, the nightcap product that we have.
Wow.
And that's CBN. It's all natural.
Okay.
Everyone takes the melatonin or they take a sleeping pill, and
Yep.
the number one deprivation in the United States is sleep.
Yes, it is.
It's just people don't understand. I can't sleep. I need some sleep.
Yep.
And our product promotes sleep.
Nice.
It's not a knockout.
Right.
It's not like smoking one of those cannabis cigarettes
Right.
where you just go kind of, yeah. This is more of a promoter. And I always tell people, and I hear this all the time, Tim, CBD didn't work for me. I hear that all the time. And I'm like, well, how long do you use it? I tried it once. I'm like, good answer. Did you take aspirin once when you had a headache?
Right. Totally.
And it didn't work, so you didn't do it anymore? No. Excuse me. Got a scratch. And then moving forward, CBG, CBN, CBDA. CBDA is come to found that it's 10 to 25% better for inflammation internally.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, I got a little scratch.
Yeah, you're fine.
I got water here.
You got water? Get some water.
Yeah, I do. I got a little water. CBA is just such a developed product, and the only way you can pull an A molecule out of a plant is it has to be cold processed. And so a lot of these big plants you're seeing around the country now for CBD,
Right.
because everyone's selling it.
Yes.
And you don't know where a lot of it's coming from.
True.
It could be
Very
from
true.
China, it could be from Vietnam, and you just don't know.
Yep.
I mean, I've always prided myself with a pharmaceutical lab that I've worked with.
Nice.
Organic,
Love it.
GMP certified,
Love it.
FDA approved, so,
Nice.
and we're getting closer and closer to the full FDA with this whole thing. In general, though, there's so many benefits to the different cannabinoids that you and we haven't even fully learned about yet.
Yeah.
This
is still emerging science for sure.
Promoting of, cell cancer, taking away, growth of cells for cancer.
Yep.
Inflammation inside.
Yep.
Promoting digestive, tract, just
Health.
better health.
Yep.
I mean, there's so many. I mean,
Yeah.
I could sit here and write a book probably about it.
Yeah.
But in general, what you asked about earlier was the differentiator, from cannabis to hemp.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to smoke weed.
Yeah.
No question about it. It makes them feel good. It
Yes.
calms them down. It's much better than taking a Norco or any pharmaceutical pill, because it's not, synthetic.
That's right. And
it's all
you
natural.
can't OD.
And you can't OD. You can't OD on CBD.
Yep.
That's some of the questions I get
Yep.
at the
Yep.
booth.
Yep.
If I take too much, what's going to happen? And
Yep.
I'm like, nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, you're probably going to feel a little bit better. That's basically how I answer them most of the time. I go, have you ever tried CBD? No. I
Right.
don't do, because we had that stigma for a while.
Yes.
When we first started, the first 3 or 4 tournaments was, that's cannabis.
Right.
And you have to explain the difference in the plant.
It's important.
And I'm going to give a fact here, which hopefully some of our listeners will, maybe research. 1935, Hemp plant was the biggest produced plant in the United States.
Yeah.
Why'd it go away?
Yeah.
Oh, Big Pharma came in. The Rockefellers, the Eisenhowers, the names. I'm not going
Yes.
to, share too many names.
Yeah.
But they saw a big financial advantage by taking over in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And so they shut down the largest plant production in the history of the United States.
Yep.
And now it's coming back.
Yeah.
Because if you follow it, and you can follow the trail, it's very interesting.
Yes.
I mean, you'll see pictures on Google, etc., of these medicines that were being made
Yep.
that were just healing people.
Yes.
And immediately they got the X on them because of thinking it was, marijuana.
Yes.
That's a drug. You're
Yep.
gonna get, you're gonna get heroin. Blah blah blah. I mean, the background of that per se. But
so one of the questions
yeah.
people have then is like, is CBD psychoactive?
Yeah.
That's the big buzz, right?
Yeah.
Like, am I going to get high from this?
Yeah.
And the answer is
no psychoactivity.
Yep.
Majority of all hemp has a small amount of THC in it.
Yep.
And what happens when you extract it, you start to draw that other portion of THC that was in there out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just limits itself. So
right.
it's an activation, THC, for any hemp plant.
Yep.
But there's nothing that shows.
Right.
It's
right.
so low of a ratio.
Right.
If you want THC, you can add it to it.
Gotcha.
And some people do.
Yeah.
I've got a young man who's got Down syndrome.
Okay.
And you can YouTube it. Troy, amazing. I met his parents about a year ago. No, longer than that, almost 2. And Troy had not spoke 23 years.
Well,
all he did was kind of grunt.
Okay.
And I met his parents, and they said, Don, we've tried a couple different things. I go, well, here, let's do this combination. So I gave them a 1,500, and then they went and got a very 20-to-1 ratio of THC that they mixed with him.
Yep.
Well, I get a call one night, Tim, and it literally blew me away. The mother's crying, and Troy's on the phone. And it's on YouTube. You can go to our Medicileaf YouTube channel. You can see Troy on there, Down syndrome. Troy is a weightlifter, ballroom dancer, lifeguard.
What?
No.
Amazing.
And his first words to his parents, where he was out on the back deck, he goes, moon, stars.
Oh.
I mean, it melts me
so
today.
Great.
No, it melts me today. And that's what I think really grabbed Cheryl and I.
Mm-hmm.
Was she was on the phone with me that night, and we go, gosh, that's the type of people we can help.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And now we've seen all these stories. I mean, you being one of them, who's now been in our booth many times. And thank you so much for the support and the watching the growth and helping us grow. And
well, I had my own experience with you. We were in La Quinta, and I walked over, and I had played singles, and on Thursday, and my low back was locked up, and it was now men's doubles day, and my forearm I was just really just burning, like a tennis elbow kind of pain. And I walked into the booth. You guys couldn't have been nicer. It was like seeing old friends.
Nice.
Come on in. And what hurts?
Exactly.
2 words. What hurts? And low back, forearm. One of you hit my low back. One of you hit my forearm. I think Max hit my forearm. I remember talking to Max. And then I walked out on the court, and you guys, you erased the stiffness and the pain. It was gone. And it wasn't like I felt something else in its place at working on it, which is my experience of like icy hots and products like that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't feel anything. So then here's the thing. My headspace opened up.
Yeah.
So I could just focus because my body was working.
Yeah.
I didn't feel any pain. I wasn't tight. And now my brain could just focus on the task at hand, which was pickleball. Yeah. And it's one thing to lose to your opponents, fine, but don't lose to your body.
Yeah.
That's so frustrating when you're like, I just couldn't get past this thing. And it liberated me to go out there and just, give it my best. And right away, it was like night and day. So, and you hear that all the time.
It's unbelievable. We're here in beautiful San Clemente, and we were here last year. And here's what's really, really great is when you have someone that you saw last year and they come up to the booth and they go, "Oh my God, you saved me. My ankle was rolled and I couldn't play." And immediately they buy something, they buy a package. But, I always remind people, I'm like, really look at what you buy, because a majority of the time, people don't.
Yep.
That sounds, BioFreeze, for example.
Right.
I walked today over to one of the booths in Lifetime, and not taking anything away from Lifetime. They had a bottle of BioFreeze on their counter.
Yep.
And they had our new product, Aloe MD Plus,
Yep.
Which we've combined, and I just said, take a look at the ingredients and then tell me the comparison, and then what because they're medical professionals,
right?
They should know what they're putting on people, right? And that's where I think the differentiator is on the all natural to the chemically induced, or the pharmaceutical side of things, and that's what I pride myself on, is everything we have all natural,
brilliant,
organic, good for you, plant-based. And I think society in a general now, as you know, is really starting to really catch that wave a lot more than we had maybe 10 years ago. It's exciting to see. I mean, younger people, who really have taken on the CBD world, and made it more popular to their parents.
Yes,
and
help
their
them.
grandparents.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you another example. My 80-year-old mother, who, when I was growing up, Tim, don't touch that stuff. You're gonna be a drug addict.
Totally.
Right?
Totally. Yes. Yes.
Mother now has been on CBD, and she's a post-polio survivor.
Wow.
10 years.
Wow.
80 years old.
Wow.
And she just swears by it. She goes, I wish I would have had this 10 years ago.
Right.
And, she's still kicking really good and having fun. But mother takes it every day.
Yeah.
80 years old.
There's a couple of ways that, let's talk briefly, because we've already had just such a great conversation. We can use CBD topically, kind of in a recovery, pain management, injury recovery, healing way. Yes. We can also take it internally and have it work. And let's tease those out. Talk to us, what's a good product that you have that's topical, and then what's something that's good, and what does it treat that you take maybe sublingually?
Perfect. Let's start topically. Our original first product was the topical spray.
Okay.
And very minimal.
Yep.
I mean, just what we added together, and it's a spray, and it just, anything you got to feel a little bit sore about, your feet, your elbow, your back, your neck, little migraine, you can put it on.
Brilliant.
We have salves now that are we pride ourselves in having high milligram, because what I used to just over the last couple courses of the year, I've started to see people boost their milligrams up now.
Gotcha.
Because cannabinoids have gone down in price. Certain cannabinoids have gone down in price. Regular CBD prices have gone down.
Okay.
The specialized cannabinoids are still expensive.
Okay.
But we made a salve that has 5,500 milligrams. You won't probably find much of that.
Wow.
Another roll-on, a CBDA product. It's a roll-on product. It's a topical product, 2,000 milligrams.
Wow.
So we have what we call the triple threat, which we use here at the pickleball tournaments exclusively, because they're like, Don, can I get that triple threat?
So what is that?
So the triple threat is the roll-on.
Okay.
And then we put a little salve on, and when I say little, minimal.
Okay.
I mean, most of our containers are 30 days worth.
Okay.
You put a very small amount on.
Okay.
The pained areas.
Yep.
And then you put the spray on to kind of seal it.
Okay.
It just keeps it in those layers of the skin.
Okay.
And then, of course, all about Aloe MD.
Yep.
We've added that.
Yeah.
So now we have a quad threat, we call it. So I don't want to confuse people, but that's the topical side of it. And we have many topicals. We've got skin creams.
Okay.
We've got a goat's milk organic skin cream with 1,000 milligrams in it.
Nice.
I've got tinctures, which you shared on.
Yep.
The tinctures, I've got several different milligrams.
Okay.
Most of the ones you see in the stores, 200, 300. I mean, we go 500, 1,000, 1,500.
Yeah. And you have to. From what I've learned from the research, right? Most of the products don't have enough actual CBD in it.
They really don't. And then you really have to kind of look and see. I mean, it should be minimal instead of maximum on the ingredients. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean,
more is not better.
There you go. I mean, if you see MCT oil, which is, organic coconut oil, that with the CBD, and maybe something else if somebody flavors it. We don't like to flavor our stuff.
Got it.
Just because we're natural. I mean, you can almost flavor your own stuff if you can't sometimes taste it, And I think some people that come to the booth, they go, well, what about, it kind of tastes like, marijuana. And I'm like, no, it's a hemp-based plant. I clear the air. I go, but you can always add a little taste of vanilla or something to it if you like to.
That's right.
The secret to tinctures is, a lot of people swallow them too quickly. And, you're thoracic, that you want to get that bloodstream pumping, is you want to get it in your mouth, and roll it around for a good minute, almost like mouthwash. Give it around, swash it. It's great for the bacteria in your mouth.
Yes, absolutely.
And then swallow.
Gotcha.
Don't let it go down and sit in your stomach. It's not going to help in there.
No.
It's just going to dissolve and go away.
Totally.
And you're going to get rid of it. So it's very important that you do take it properly. And I try to give everyone that I put it together with, I say, look, make sure you take it 5 to 7 days. And then you'll start to feel the effects.
There you go.
You would not believe the amount of calls I get 5 to 7 days after people. Like a tournament here.
Brilliant.
I'll get an email or I'll get a text. Don, you were spot on. 7 days later, my lower back, and this is from taking a tincture, not just doing the topical, but taking a tincture. We've just recently developed a CBDA tincture, which is nobody else can find. I mean, they're starting to. This industry, and I'll be honest, this industry becomes a copy and paste for a lot of people.
Yes.
And it's too bad because they try to copy and paste something they really can't do. And they'll say what they have in there. And there'll be a minimal amount. And ours are pretty darn clear. I mean, 250 milligrams of CBD, 250 milligrams of CBDA.
There you go.
So you got 500 milligrams. But the CBDA is a cold process. To get an A molecule, it's very difficult.
That's hard
to pull it out. And so we've found the expertise to do that now.
Brilliant.
And the scientist that I'm working with right now just got a patent pending on a process that we're doing to find the 130 cannabinoids that we're going to be drawing in an organic way, because a lot of these extraction processes are done with a lot of gases and a lot of machinery.
Gotcha.
And I kept asking him, how can we do this thing fully organic? He goes, let me work on it.
There you go.
Well, 1 year later, I'm excited to tell you that Chris, my partner, and I have been talking about it. We're going to have a fully organic extraction process.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So we're excited about that. So
fantastic.
Those are the two. So
outstanding.
Yeah.
Where do people find more about Medicileaf online?
Yeah. Medicileaf.com.
Yep.
And it's, we named this company after the medicine leaf.
Yeah.
So it's easy to remember that way.
There you go.
Medicine leaf. Medicileaf. We just took out the N and the E.
There you go.
So, and it's really easy to find PPA. You can go to all the PPA sites.
Yep.
You can go YouTube us.
Yep.
You can check out with a lot of our ambassadors. We've got many pro shops, ambassadors around the country for pickleball. We just got approached by pro soccer. We just got approached by pro football. One of the new leagues wants to do something with us.
Outstanding.
So lots of irons in the fire.
Sure.
My newest venture, and we're all wearing our shirts.
That's right.
Is my Allo MD with my partner Chris Hardy out of Dallas, Texas. We met Chris last year, got introduced, and I got to give Rick Berry a plug.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Rick Berry has been an ambassador from us from day one. We met him in Tampa, Florida last year, and Rick goes, "Man, you got to talk to somebody," and connected me with Chris. And Chris and I partnered in, I think it was September of last year.
Yeah.
Brought our stuff together.
Yeah.
We infused our cannabinoids into his Allo wonderful patented product.
Yeah.
and it's just taken off from there.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of unbelievable. I mean, I'm on this ride, and I'm just like, when am I going to get off?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean,
No.
sitting in this pickleball community where we're at right now, it's so comfortable,
Yeah.
and just people are so friendly.
Yeah.
And then their minds have opened up.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed more than anything at these pickleball functions.
Yeah.
Where people just have a more of an open mind towards trying other things, and we've had several other booths here
Yeah.
that have had other things.
Yep.
But people come up and they're like, "Wow, that's pretty cool, man. Could I? Yeah, free sample. Come on in."
Yeah.
So I enjoy that. I enjoy meeting the people, and it's funny because you being one of them, they come in, we lather them up, they go out and play 3 games, and they come back later and they go, "I can't believe it."
Yes.
And I'm like, you should believe it, because
Yep.
this is a plant that's been growing on this earth for millions of years.
Yep.
And
Yep. Science is just catching up.
Basically, yeah. And and I think many more people have jumped on the train of plant-based products.
Yes.
Just because they found out.
Yep.
So much research and science that's been done on the backside.
Yep.
So we're excited, and I so appreciate you, and appreciate coming out here and doing what you do for the people of the community, because this is just pickleball. Come on, you play enough of it now. You're addicted like most of the people here.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's not one game.
No, it's never.
No,
never.
It's like just one more.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you're out there 4 hours.
That's right.
And you come back and your back's sore and your calf's sore.
Yep.
And you have to do something to recover.
Absolutely.
So,
that's you're speaking my language. That's why we're here.
Yeah. And that's why we're here.
That's it.
So
All
appreciate
right.
it.
Well, Don, thanks so much for being on Pickleball Recovery.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Timmy.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Whee.
All right.
Thanks so much for listening. Do you want to know the number one mistake picklers make that leads to increased pain, soreness, stiffness, and injury? Just head over to www.pickleballrecovery.com and download my free guide to playing with less pain and more enjoyment. Listen, pickleball makes us feel young at heart, but not necessarily young in body. So go download my free guide at www.pickleballrecovery.com. See you next time.